different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics, the fan, by the fan, and the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The podcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Friday on this January 22nd. It's the start of the weekend. By the time many listen to this, y'all can go out and have a good time and get ready for NFC Championship weekend. An AFC Championship weekend is going to happen this weekend. And then the Super Bowl will come after that. And then we will not be done with football because FCS is supposed to play in the spring. And all those debates about what we could do be tested. Now, they probably want to act like it won't matter because it's FCS, but the reality is they're 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. If playing football games is too much of a stress, if playing more than 15 times a year is too much stress, the game probably shouldn't be legal to begin with. But they're using that argument because they wanted it to happen in the fall. That's the only reason. They wanted it to happen in the fall. So we got football in the fall, we're going to have football in the spring, and then next we're going to have the XFL back. So basically a period of year-round football. So we are kind of, I don't know, in the middle of it. We're kind of in the peak of sport as far as extension things. But, still say the peak was in the 90s and 2000s. But I do enjoy spread offense, and I do enjoy the Sean Payton plays, and the stuff that we are currently getting there is great. Every now and then you want one of those defensive super knocker games. And you have players that are gravitating to the offensive side of the ball because defense is so much getting behind. And it's turning into basically a big play, or defense's job is for big plays. Explosives, lost yard, interceptions, things like that. If you can make them punt, lose positions 2-3 times a game, and your offense on, you're going to win. That's just the way they set up these days. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. I love what Ole Miss is doing. The tempo offense and everything, it's fantastic. But that's what the game is. But year-round football in the offering. Also, probably waiting to the second segment. Ole Miss and some throwbacks. They're going to wear against Texas A&M on Saturday, tomorrow. And it's pretty cool. Now, whenever they wore them this time, I was in the Navy, so I wasn't even around, really. And the games weren't necessarily broadcasted in eastern Pennsylvania, like you think. But I was sitting in the Navy, and I was able to see the Sweet 16 run. I was able to catch shot because once the tournament happened, you could do it. And then basically, I was renting an apartment with 3 or 4 other dudes. And once it got to the NCAA tournament, an on-base motel, which most of those places have an on-base motel for dignitaries to come in, I rented a room for the whole weekend, all the way through the 4 nights of the opening weekend. Because I wanted to be alone and I wanted to watch the game. So that was available as well. So that was pretty cool, and that's what the throwbacks kind of remind of. Anyway, you can catch us on Twitter at @TheStephenWillis or at Old Positively. That's Old Positively is Joe Podcast. We're not really using it at the moment, but you will. So hang around for that. Facebook.com/POMcast. Do Positively Ole Miss, hit the bell notification, say no one was screen, and Twitch Positively Ole Miss, all one word. Do me a favor, also you can retweet it, you can do whatever you need to do to the show where we put the the stream up, you can send that about its way. And also, you leave a comment and start getting used to participating in the show with the hashtag POMcast. That is hashtag POMcast. Now, we're probably 3 months away from going live. It's going to be slow, but get in the habit of doing that. Hashtag POMcast. Hashtag POMcast. And once we go live, some of your questions will be shown and read on the air. Answered. Today we were supposed to have Chris Thrasher, our Oxford correspondent, to talk everything that's going on in Oxford, Mississippi, and Ole Miss and what's on the ground there. And the piece of equipment that I needed was not delivered, so we had to push that next week. So next week will be Chris Thrasher, and kind of a unique story. Him coming on board. He's a former wounded warrior, or current wounded warrior. I don't know the exact way to put that, but he's going to be covering Ole Miss teams in and around Oxford. We're going to get a media pass and things like that in there, and we're going to do a show and put him on the air afterwards and all that. So it's going to be fun. We have a long way to go until this fall, and we have all stuff to get to. I mean, my gear mostly got here. Still waiting on the rack to then, and the cable company is going to install, basically move my service to this particular area where I need to hardwire connect it, because you can spend $8,000 on equipment, but that does not mean it has Wi-Fi. So they're coming tonight to that, and that's basically what we have going. Man, that was a quick first segment. Steve's POMcast. Stick around.
Only 10% of us enough daily exercise.
And that number is dropping.
Nearly 30% of them are overweight or obese. We spend 6 hours a day in front of the screen.
As a result, we now have a shorter life expectancy than our parents.
But give us a start in sports and never stop. Learn how at activelife.ca.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis from Positively Ole Miss. We're almost done with this break. We'll be back with information quite soon.
The military has been in every generation of my family, and so has VA. It wasn't easy for my dad after Vietnam, but VA, him and my mom, the home they'd always wanted. Michael's been coming to VA since World War II. They even helped him lay to rest one battle buddies from Normandy. And me, I've been their footsteps and served with pride. And now out of the military, the GI Bills help us school. Every generation of my family has served, and VA served us all.
All right, POMcast, Stephen Willis, right here at Positively Miss. We're thrilled you are joining us, but we hope you will stick around a little longer, because this thing is about to kick off, and you'll be a part of something really special, like a video podcast with 3, 4, 5 angles of cameras, highly produced. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. And basically, you see, you know, we can talk about this, just friends, But used to, back in the day, there was a role that media played. Let's say back in the 80s, back when the Rick Cleveland was patrolling the Clarion Ledger, there was a role that media played. And that was the role of actually reporting what actually happened. Here's the problem now, and it's kind of made obsolete, is now everything is an opinion. Now, why do you care about somebody that's not invested in any way besides monetarily about opinion of your football program, your base program, your basketball program? Why? What role do they serve? It would literally be the same way if you got Steve Robertson to coach Ole Miss sports. It would be the same thing. Exactly. So what we want to do is cover this from the perspective of the Ole Miss fan. We're going to cover things that fans want to hear. We're going to do uniforms. We're going to do all that stuff. The Grove, post-game shows. We're not going to not do something necessarily because we just don't think and make money on it. We're going to cover it either way. Once we decide to do it, we'll do it. And a lot of this right now depends on Chris Thrash's schedule. A lot of our post stuff. Because, he's going to be the boots on the ground. We're going to try to get him a media credential and all stuff. He's going to be our face in Oxford. You'll see once it starts coming on, we'll start hitting him up for his Twitter account, and we're going to make him really be known as kind of one of the guys in Oxford for information. He's going to attend a press conference, he's going to meet people, exchange numbers, and he'll have all the sources that everybody has. Yeah, that's the dirty secret about sources. All you have to do is meet people. Eventually they'll tell you, because a lot of time they want to tell you anyway, because they want this to get out, but they want their name on it. So they use you as a conduit. Another reason why an Ole Miss fan needs to be kind of basically doing the job. Serve as that conduit whenever they have information they need to get out. It is important. Because there's some people out there that are willing to destroy the program. What you love, that you are paying money to, for their own selfish gain. I mean, that's just the way it is. There might as well be Steve Robertson. Yeah, and that's how much their opinion matters of the issue. That is how much their opinion is relevant. I mean, they're not experts in football, basketball, baseball. Why would their opinions matter? I mean, if they wanted to get a job at any of the sports, they would be laughed out of the interview. Because of lack of knowledge. But that's the way it is. Ole Miss has Throwbacks this weekend against Texas A&M. The 2001 white jersey that they wore with Justin Reed and the Provine Posse, Jason Harrison, Buck Flanagan, and the boys are going to be on display again at the Pavilion. So at least those uniforms got to play in a basketball facility. Am I right? Am I right? Huh? I'm just kidding. But they look really good. I mean, the blue Ole Miss, old style, old English lettering back in the 80s. It was kind of a nod back to that, like Gerald Glass and the boys. Excuse me. But they will put those on really good. The sides are red and blue stripes, so it's kind of fun. But it represents numbers, or the jerseys they wore, the uniforms they wore, on their way to the Sweet 16. Our pinnacle basketball lore, the Sweet 16. And those guys made it there. And in all honesty, we're a couple years ago, I think 2013, Mo Henderson getting fouled away from being there again. But that is beside the point. I will not dwell on that too much. But it should be an exciting game. Texas A&M should be a prohibitive underdog in this game. But remember, Ole Miss lacked a shooter. If this game turned to a game where Ole Miss needs a shooter, one does not exist. You can't get blood from turnip. And that's just the real thing. Jarkel Joyner is really good at 17 feet. He needs to be really good at 21. So there's some improvement that needs to happen in the offseason. Devontae Shuler is streaky with the shot. He's always been streaky with the shot. So it's not like it's a surprise. But we've hit the point where if Ole Miss wins this game, they're 3-4 in the SEC. And it's not that all is well. It's just more taken care of than it was before. COVID really decimated this team and behind people in really pronounced ways. Those early season games against Memphis and stuff being canceled really hurt them. I mean, you just can't underestimate how much they hurt them. But Ole Miss and Texas A&M playing this weekend. I don't have it up at the moment. I'll get it up right now. They're playing at about, see what time they're playing. Let's see. 2:30 Central Time on the SEC Network against Texas A&M. Two teams 7-5 playing this weekend. Miss wearing their throwbacks. It's going to be kind of fun to see. It'll be a little bit of nostalgia. And with that, maybe a run happens because of the Mississippi State game. This is the stable game where you can put in on top of a win, which event you can put on top of a win, and the next thing you know, you're really, really king. And that should be the goal. And now that Ole Miss is starting to catch up from their COVID shutdown from early in the season, maybe they can grow up, because you're going to hear a lot of stuff about style of coaching and things like that and everything. You got to take what they say with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, they want a coach search. They want to sell subscriptions based off of that coaching search. I mean, that's what they do. That's how they make money, and that is how they monetize Ole Miss. And if it's the way you can monetize Ole Miss, a coaching search every 3 years benefits. So do not listen to the opinions of people that can profit off of things going poorly. That makes no sense. It's like wrong kind of an echo chamber. We've lived in it for 40 years. So we just don't. We need to concentrate on what we can handle and forward. Don't worry about what outside said. Look inside. Look inside. Of course, outsiders have bad things to say about the program. They have reason to say bad things. But if you circle and look inside, look inwards, you can actually build an environment that is good for the players, for the coaches, and kind of all pull this the same direction. And you can take their power away from them. There's no more controlling narrative. There's no more any of that. We can just play sports. Stephen Willis, POMcast, right here, Positively Ole Miss.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you, being the glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's Choice Independent Insurance Agents.
Hey, this is Steve Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. Men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing homelessness by making housing available, but there is more we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.ea.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran or are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-48-VET. Thank you.
Segment of the week, the podcast, right here, Positively Ole Miss. Thank you so much for listening to the show. You should see our numbers. Unbelievable. It's crazy. But the idea is we're just doing this for practice. We're getting ready for the show. This isn't necessarily the show. Now, you be provided insight in some way that you're getting elsewhere, but this isn't the show. The show is coming in April, and the show allows me to practice talking for a half hour at a time, because to let everybody know that's not aware, I was on a ventilator last year, and it kind of messed my throat and made talking for periods of time difficult at first. So I had to bread up. So the best way I thought I could do that was through a podcast. And we're going to take the POMcast, multi-shot. I mean, I think it's going to look pretty cool. And it's something that you can completely take advantage of, and you can follow Ole Miss and be hardcore about Ole Miss and spend a half an hour on Ole Miss. We're not asking for a ton of your time. We're just asking for a little bit, get informed, move on about your day. We're not trying to milk you for money. We don't see you as ATM. We see you as fans. And that's not a bad thing. Because the whole purpose of this is it will be about fan. It will from the perspective of fan. For the fan. Period. We're not going to go into look at analytics and say, well, this is making us a ton of money. We do that. No. We're going to segments because we think interesting. And we think they're what fans would want to follow. What's important to them. They've been long forgotten by people that basically have used them as fans as an ATM over the years. So they take the most hardcore, the ones willing to pay all this money into account, complain about how little they get at time, and leave you anxious to always bring you back, always get on a situation, even if there's no story. They need you anxious. They will invent stories. They will invent hypotheticals. Remember the Matt Corral One Pro story from early this year? Yeah. That's the way to do to keep you anxious, to keep you tuning in. They read it like basically a Mexican soap opera, but at the end of the day, they're using you. They're using you. You're an ATM to them. That's all you are. So I want to provide a service of a place where you can actually go follow sports, not eat up a time. It's over and a bit. We're going to have correspondents. Like I said, Chris Asher starting is going to be our Oxford correspondent. He's going to cover the team. We're going to find somebody that wants to cover recruiting. And we're going to find a person that is uniform-based. And if there's other people that we need to add, we will add them. This isn't about making money. I mean, I'm going to sell ads, but the purpose of the ads is just to keep the lights on. I mean, we don't really need it. But we want to find a way to cover this in a unique way. We want to give you something that's not getting elsewhere. And if you get that, you're going to come back the next day. And then we're going to do other shows. We're going to do around the SEC video-wise, which I already have Jeb and Corey. We're going to set them up for video, make sure they're to go. And we might do a people's podcast on our platform as we can. People that aren't into so much taking money from people. That's not money coming to their pocket. We'll provide them a platform to provide their views. So we got good stuff coming up and coming really months, and here before you know it. I mean, the hardware, this already here. I unboxed yesterday a $1,800 camera just because we wanted to be able to switch and shoot different background and do certain things. We had well over $12,000-$13,000 worth of stuff come through the door the other day. Still have more to go. We're trying to do this right. And we're trying to provide a service that really nobody on the Ole Miss beat match. Because it's not their thing, you know? They're trying to expand their print stuff and send people you to spend money on their print stuff. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to have fun. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend. I'm Stephen Willis. This is the POMcast. Retweet, share, copy, whatever you do. Hotty toddy.